הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
30 years ago, the Voyager space probe was drifting far out in space, 4 million miles from Earth. The scientist Carl Sagan asked the Voyager's engineers to take a picture of the Earth. And when it came back, it almost seemed like a mistake. "That's home? That's us," said Sagan. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Our lives can feel so very big at times, and other moments we can feel so incredibly small. Yom Kippur is a day for remembering that all of us, each and every one of us, matters. What we do matters. How we treat each other matters. How we treat the world, it matters. Parents, will you actually look at your children right now? Look right into their eyes, and it's fine if they squirm. And now tell them, you matter, and I love you. And now kids, will you look at your parent now? Look right into their eyes, and it's okay if they squirm, and tell them, you matter, and I love you. Our world, our beautiful blue planet, it is a miracle, and our lives are miracles. What we've created and the families we have built, the love we share, all miracles. Today is a day for reminding ourselves of this, for reminding ourselves that we matter, and that in order for us to live lives that matter, we have to set our hearts to caring for ourselves, set our hearts to caring for one another, for all humanity, and for our planet. O God, who gives us bodies that work and souls that hold our life breath, we say thank you. Asher Yitzar Eloheinu Shema, pages 160 and 163.
Uber
We rise, turning our hearts and bodies eastward as Shelley invites us into prayer, and we respond with gratitude. Baruch Hu, page 171. Now, if you will, take your hand and cover your eyes and take a deep breath and look deep within to the little spark of light, the divine light that makes you human. Imagine your light burning bright. Imagine your light burning so bright that it touches the souls of your family and your community and spreads out to the entire world. Imagine that light whispering to you, you matter. And lovingly hold that spark that animates your soul, and say to it, you matter, and I listen. Shema.
אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך.
ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם.
ושיתך בביתך ובבתך בדרך.
ובשכבך ובקומך.
קשרתם לאות על ידיך ויהיו לטוטפות בין עיניך.
וכתבתם על מזיזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי.
הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים
להיות לכם לאלוהים.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The rabbis tell a story of a man who saw two workmen. Each of them was carrying a heavy stone walking down the road. And he said to the first, "What are you doing?" And the man says, "I'm carrying a heavy stone." And he turned to the second man and he said, "Well, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm building the Temple of Solomon." How we see what we do changes what we do. Some people say I'm spending my time in prison at home, and others say I'm keeping people safe from COVID. One way of looking at life is boring and monotonous, and the other is life-changing. Mi Chamocha, page 177.
ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba 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 bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba 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 bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba 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 bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba 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 bim bam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam.
Rabbi Abraham Twersky said that when his father used to criticize him when he was a child, his dad wouldn't say you're bad or even what you did was bad. He would say what you did is not worthy of you. It's a beautiful way to rebuke a child or anyone, to affirm their worth, even as you point at what they did was wrong. We could learn how to criticize more lovingly, because right now our society, the way we criticize is not worthy of us. As we rise for the Amidah, stand tall, even on Yom Kippur, because though each of us have made mistakes, we are of great worth. We can do better. Page 178.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
A long time ago, there was this incredibly wise, incredibly kind king. But, as all people do, the king grew older and knew that his time was almost done. And so the king wrote down in a letter, secretly, who was to take over and be the new ruler. Wrote down, closed up the letter, sealed it away until his time had passed. And everybody in the kingdom was curious, who's going to take over? Is it going to be one of his children? Is it going to be an advisor, a general maybe? Nobody knew. And then the day came and the king passed. And the whole kingdom gathered to reopen that letter to see who was going to take the throne. And with big pomp and circumstance, they opened the letter, pulled out the note. The jester? The jester who sings and dances and juggles and does cartwheels and the jester. Okay. This is the king's orders. So they brought the jester forward, put on the royal cloak, put on the crown, and the jester took a seat in the throne. And it took a little bit to get used to for everyone to see the jester as their new leader. And it took a little bit for the jester to take on this role as their new leader. But soon they all discovered that this was a perfect choice. Now, their new leader was just as wise and kind as their old king, just as loving. And their new leader asked questions and listened to everyone, from the high generals to the commoners in the village. But there was something mysterious about their new leader. Every so often, they would retreat back to their room, their quarters, and lock the door for hours. Hours they'd stay there, and nobody knew what they did behind those doors. But they just chalked it up to one of these quirks that we have to live with, and they never asked any questions. So some time went by, and soon there was a foreign ambassador that came to visit with this leader. And these two, this foreign ambassador, their leader, they became very close friends. But during their stay, this foreign ambassador discovered and was curious, why was this ruler, why was this leader going back for hours and hours and staying in their room? What were they doing there? They never asked, but one day they were just so curious that they followed them all the way back, tiptoeing really quietly so that they wouldn't be heard. And they peeked through the keyhole to see what it was that this leader was doing. And they saw this leader took off their crown, placed it aside, took off their robes, and put back on a jester's costume. And they'd sing around, they'd dance around, they'd juggle, they'd do cartwheels. And they looked themselves in the mirror and said, never forget who you are. You may look and sound like the ruler, like the leader of these people, of this land, but know where you came from. Never forget who you are. And that foreign ambassador never mentioned to their friend what they had seen. But years and years of friendship went by, and they just had to tell them. When they were alone one day, they said, I'm sorry, I was so curious. You disappeared for hours and hours, and I had to see, what is it that you're doing back there? And they admitted to seeing them dress in the jester's clothes and dancing and singing around. And the leader said, no worries, not at all. And the ambassador said, curious though, why do you think the king ended up choosing you to succeed on the throne? And the leader smiled. Well, who do you think the king was before they were king? This great wise leader understood that being humble made them a better leader, made them a better person. And Yom Kippur exists as this mirror for all of us, a time when we can stop and reflect on the year that was so that we can make plans on how to be better moving forward. By saying sorry and apologizing to the ones we love, to the ones that we hurt, we can see our true selves again so that we never forget who we are. We rise now and we join Shelley for a Shamnu. In the 10 days since Rosh Hashanah, we have tried to make up with the people we hurt during this last year. Today we do something different, though. Today we apologize to God. For the wrongs we have done, we are sorry. For hurting other people's feelings, for not listening to our parents, teachers, and friends, we are sorry. For not always telling the truth, for taking something that didn't belong to us, we are sorry. For acting badly even when no one was watching, for not utilizing our bodies to their fullest potential, we are sorry. For not embracing those who needed embracing, and for not allowing ourselves to be embraced, we are sorry. For not recognizing that everyone is made in God's image, B'Tselem Elohim, and is perfect just the way they are. For thinking only of ourselves, we are sorry. For forgetting to be humble and allowing others to teach us. For looking longingly into the future instead of appreciating what we have right now, we are sorry. For doing what is easy instead of what will make us grow. And for not being kind to everyone who has crossed our path, we are sorry. For all of these, we are sorry. God of forgiveness, help us atone.
ועל כולם אלוה הסליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוה הסליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
Remember the story of the two brothers, Jacob and Esau? Jacob pretended to be his brother Esau in front of their blind father. And later, when Jacob is wrestling with the angel asks him, "What's your name?" Why does the angel ask that? Doesn't God know Jacob's name? Because he wants to see if Jacob will tell the truth. If he no longer pretends to be someone he isn't. Before the angel renames him Israel, before he allows Jacob to change, Jacob has to face who he is now. That's true for all of us. We all, in different ways, want to change. But first, we have to face who we are. Avinu Malkeinu, forgive and pardon all our wrongdoings. Top of page 197.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu v'aneinu, ki en banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu v'aneinu, ki en banu masim.
Please be seated. In the Torah, God tells the Israelites, "Make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among you. For generations, people have wondered, why didn't Torah say in it? Don't we build sanctuaries for God to dwell in? The answer, of course, is no. And you know it's true because even though you're at home today and we're not together in the sanctuary, we all feel the power of this community, which is holy and loving and powerful. Yes, God is in each of us, and that is what connects us together. And I know we miss being in person together right now. I know we can't wait for the day when we can safely gather. We will not take our temple building or our school and its classrooms for granted ever again. When it was time to build that very first sanctuary in the desert, Moses told the Israelites to bring gifts. And they brought so many, each person bringing gemstones and acacia wood, special dyes and yarns, that Moses had to tell them to stop. It was too much even. And so like Moses in the desert, we are about to ask you to help sustain and continue to build our temple and our schools, to support not just our building, but all the people who call it home.
Shana Tova, everyone. My name is Rabbi Gary Greenbaum. Many of you might be wondering, who is this young guy? Well, I'm the interim senior rabbi at Temple Israel of Hollywood.
And my name is Heidi Siegel, and I'm the president of our board of trustees. Usually at this time, I'd be walking amongst all of you, wishing you an easy fast and holding out a wicker basket while you filled out the envelopes in your prayer books to support our high holiday appeal. As you are well aware, though, these are not normal times. We are living through an extraordinary period, and the way we are weathering it all makes me so proud to be part of the Temple Israel community.
Last spring, when we had to close our doors, we found out just how creative and innovative we could be and how much stronger TIOH is than the building we rely on to be our house of study, prayer, and community gathering. Our schools closed on Friday, March 13th, and reopened just 1 week later. That's how quickly our schools pivoted to an online model, and while it was challenging, we finished the year strong. This summer, our new head of Briskin Elementary, Hannah Bennett, as well as Jesse Lichter-Merritt, who directs the Bay Nimoy Early Childhood Center, and Sarah Escobar, who runs the religious school, worked with Temple staff to redesign and then refine our online models, with safety and opportunities to learn uppermost in everyone's minds.
Our tremendous clergy team, Rabbis Gary Greenbaum, Michelle Masagia, Josie Hudson, Calvin Dox-DaCosta, and Shelley Fox, our cantoral soloist and musical director, did not miss a beat, providing exceptional Friday night services that have been averaging around 150 screens a week.
In addition, we have engaged congregants in many different areas of Jewish life, with an abundance of well-attended online learning and action opportunities for adults, including social justice, holiday preparations, music, and the arts. We continue to be available to you now and into the future during these uncertain times.
But maybe the most reassuring part of Temple Israel is that fundamentally we have not changed. Because at heart, we have always been about the community, about standing together at the most challenging moments, right along with day-to-day happenings. This is the community where we make our friends, raise our children, play mahjong, softball, organize book groups, and wine tastings. You name it.
When I came to TIOH to serve as interim senior rabbi, I knew of its storied history. I also understood it was time for the congregation to go through a process of transition from the 3 decades of wonderful service by Rabbi Rosoff. It is a transition that will prepare everyone for a new senior rabbi who will come with a vision of their own that will be united with everything that was already happening here. I see a great future for this congregation, and I feel blessed to be part of it at this turning point in its life.
So today we are here to ask you to partner with us in another way. Pre-pandemic, our financial health was strong, but we've been impacted just as most other institutions and businesses have. With our schools moving online and camps and programs canceled, we have lost revenue. Most years, we've relied on the support of our annual gala, tickets to the high holidays, and this Yom Kippur appeal. However, when the pandemic hit, we decided to open the gala for everyone because people needed a night of community and levity. Our virtual high holiday services have also been made available to all. Charging for tickets this year was never something we ever considered.
We had to quickly adjust to mitigate the impact of the losses. We revisited our budget for the end of last year and the current year. Our entire staff is engaging in furloughs, and we launched a fundraising campaign for a new sustaining fund to address the increased demand for membership dues relief and tuition assistance for all 3 schools. Though it is a precarious time, we don't want to lose any members.
All of this is why our appeal this morning is so important. We simply have to make up for the revenue we've lost over the last 6 months and the projected deficits for this new year in order to secure the long-term health of our congregation. We know the financial crisis that we're in has hit not just Temple Israel as an institution, but many of us personally. We know that many who have given generously in the past and are committed to TIOH are just not able to give at that level right now. For those of us that are able, this is where we need to stand up. Please think of the amount that you have in mind to give, and then, if you can, double it.
In our ongoing commitment to tzedakah, your gift will also help others in need. 10% of what we raise will be donated to 3 of our partner organizations that reflect the values and commitments of this congregational community. We pledge our gift today to Mazon, a Jewish response to hunger, to the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, and to Kehilat Kodesh V'chol, our partner reform congregation in Israel.
So we're going to take the next few minutes, and rather than see me and my fellow board members walking the aisle with baskets, collecting your envelope, we will now create a virtual wicker basket so that you at home can contribute. You will see a graphic come up on your screen with easy instructions. You just need to go to tioh.org/appeal or text "Welcome Home," one word, to 797979.
Thank you all so much for your support and care for the TIOH community. May this year be a year of great blessings for each of you.
Thank you. Shana Tova.
long time ago, two monks were walking down the road. One was old and one was young, and they came to a river. Beside the river was a woman, and she was screaming, "How am I supposed to get over this river? The water's so deep and fierce, and I have all this stuff." And the older monk looked at her with compassion, and he said, "Let me carry you over the river." And he did. When she got to the other side, she didn't even say thank you. She just kept yelling, "Someone bring me the rest of my stuff." And so the two monks walked on. Finally, the younger monk couldn't take it anymore. And he turned to his teacher. "That woman was so rude and so disrespectful back there. I can't believe how she treated you." And the older monk looked at the younger student. "I put that woman down miles ago. Why are you still carrying her with you?" Our tradition teaches us today, Yom Kippur is one day out of the year for us to look at what we're carrying with us and to set aside the burdens that are weighing us down. When the Israelites were wandering in the desert and still figuring out what it would mean to be a people, they learned how to let go of things they regretted. The actions or the choices they made, they wish they had done differently, by writing down their missteps and sending them off into the desert on a goat. And then they took another goat and they sacrificed it to God. So look, friends, today we're not carrying anyone across a river and we're not writing messages on a goat. But what we are doing is sitting with ourselves and sitting with our actions. We're apologizing to the people we need to apologize to, committing to change the things we need to change, and saying thank you. Thank you for the blessings in our lives. Yes, our Torah blessings this morning will be chanted by Orrin Gordon and Bonnie Levy, and the Torah portion will be chanted by 5 different teenagers from our congregation. Orrin and Bonnie.
ברכו את אדוני מבורך, ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
אמן. תפילה בכפרת הקודש, ואת אוהל מועד, ואת המזבח, והקריב את השעיר החי.
ושמח אהרון את שתי ידיו על ראש השעיר החי, והתוודה עליו את כל עוונות בני ישראל ואת כל פשעיהם לכל חטאתם, ונתן אותם על ראש השעיר ושילח ביד אישיתי המדברה, ונשא השעיר עליו את כל עוונותם אל ארץ גזירה, ושילח את השעיר במדבר.
הר החטאת ואת שעיר החטאת, אשר הובא את דמם לכפר בקודש, יוציא אל מחוץ למחנה, ושרפו באש את אורתם ואת בשרם ואת פרשם, והשורף אותם יכבס בגדיו, ורחץ את בשרו במים, ואחרי כן יבוא אל המחנה.
והייתה להם נקודה בחודש השביעי, ועשו בחודש טענו את נפשותיהם. עשו מלאכה לא תעשו, עזרא וחגר הכל בתוככם, כי ביום הזה יכפר עליהם לשתוכל אתהם חטאותיהם Hatotehen Livlei Adonai Titov.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
We're now excited to welcome Sarah Escobar, Religious School Director, and Hannah Bennett, Head of Schools, to offer a blessing for our students.
Dear students, as we embark on this new year together, Hannah and I have many blessings to offer you.
May all of your days be filled with learning, laughter, and love. May you find strength and resilience helping you to overcome the obstacles you may face.
May you embrace your mistakes and have them help you grow to be your best self.
May you find gratitude in the simplest things life has to offer.
May you be kind to others and, of course, kind to yourself always. Sending so much love your way, many, many blessings for the new year. Amen.
It's a tree of life, do all that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It's a tree of life, do all that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. We hope that your Yom Kippur is meaningful. Thank you to Nima, to James, to Roger Cumble. Thank you to Rabbi Greenbaum, Bill Spall, Roberta Berendt, and our dedicated temple staff and all the volunteers who have worked so hard to create a beautiful, holy experience for us. There's a full day of programming this afternoon with yoga and spiritual journeys, musical meditation with Shelley Fox. Yisker will be at 5 o'clock. Ne'ilah will be at 5:30. Bring your shofar to Ne'ilah and also your Havdalah candle that you received in your membership package. Gemar Chatima Tova, may you and your loved ones be written in the Book of Life.